Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here, of course, at Bitcoin, just getting quick perspective on what's going to happen next here. And, there's a lot going on. It's a crazy market right now, and I just want to let you know to, community members, subscribers, whomever's watching, the range bound activity for the last 19 to 20 days has been fairly manipulated. In other words, a lot of strong wicks up and wicks down that are fairly unnecessary, and they're causing a lot of liquidations. So please be very careful and cautious. That's the main reason why we haven't had a tremendous amount of signals while they have been very successful in the last couple of weeks. Generally speaking, it's best to kind of try to stay on the market, at least depending on what trading style you have. Swing traders, probably best to kind of wait out the storm here and not have any aggressive stop losses. But if you're day trading, obviously it's a different story. Our CC Golden Indicator is working fantastic recently. Okay, so again, that's more day trading oriented, but just want to kind of preface and let you know that, hey, you're not alone if you're having some trouble right now. Even the pros are having difficulty, and I had some difficulty last month too. Complete transparency. That's the way it works, so you got to learn from those mistakes and continue on and to make less of them moving forward. Okay, so again, you can't force the market. The market will never work the way that you want it to. Sometimes it will, but very rarely will it be consistent. So we're going to talk a little bit about high block capital here. We're going to take a look at this. Some of the charts just quickly to note here, kind of preface with this here. We have more asks than bids. It's pretty consistent. A lot of people are shorting the market right now because they feel the price is going to come down. I'm personally feeling we should see a retracement to the 25,000 range in the relative near future. It makes more sense considering, but open interest is up. We got a doji candle here, a lot of conflicting information. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about that. So what I mean by conflicting information is, first of all, we have a doji candle forming here today. So if we close about 28,000, just say 100, 20,002, there's a good chance we're going to have indecision and the price could pull back. Okay, because again, a doji candle usually signals a reversal. You see one right here, for example, where it turns itself around after going in that direction for a little while. Now, we've only been in this direction for a day and a half, 2 days perhaps. So in truth, it may not be a significant pullback, but it would make sense for the price to continue lower because we are making lower highs tentatively. Okay, so again, that's why if we can't close somewhere in the range of just say 28.5 or higher, then we're going to have some difficulty getting, away from this range, and I think the price coming down would make some sense overall. Okay, so again, that's kind of what that looks like. Looking at the RSI, we can see there's a little bit more money flowing back in the market with the money flow index coming up. We can see the MACD is still diverging. It's not significant, but it is still a divergence. And of course, RSI is kind of plateaued right at the 60 mark. So it does show we still have some strength in the market, but it also implies that we have generally less volume, and that's kind of a concern for me. Okay, so again, when you see this amount of volume, like you see a lot of volume previously when the price action comes up, fighting back and forth, we've had almost a draw dead worth of volume, like a tremendous amount of less volume in the last 14 days. Okay, so again, something really super important to recognize: low volume causes higher volatility. That's just why we're seeing these crazy candle wicks up and down, but it just feels like we're priming for a decrease before the next leg up. Okay, so again, we caught some shorts here a couple of days ago with this last leg down to like the 27.6 mark. It's been bouncing ever since, but we're kind of range bound. We're getting stuck at the 27.8 range there. 28,000 is a round number, and we cannot seem to break that plane. Okay. Again, more often you test a level, the more likely it is to break, but at this point, it just feels like there's more potential for downside. We are staying above the 20-day SMA that's working as somewhat of a trend line, so keep that in mind. We break below that, it would make a lot more sense to short. For right now, we have a tentative support there in that range. We can also see on the 4-hour that the RSI is kind of averaging itself out in the middle. We have the same activity from the Ichimoku cloud as well, where the price keeps breaking above and below the cloud. Less consistent, these consistent indicators that give you more trend setting indications are not really helping us with that trend because they're averaging themselves out. We're having this strange up and down type of behavior. So it's great for day trading if you're buying low, selling high, and selling high and buying low. But again, not everyone's that kind of trader. So as a swing trader, it can be very frustrating. So I can side with you there. That's kind of where I'm more so gravitate towards. But in truth, we're going to be bringing day trades to the community here in the very near future. We're just making sure that the execution on Cornix and some of our automated trading sites are working very well and seamlessly, right? So you can one-click follow if all possible. If nothing else, just make sure that we have more consistency there. So far, we're trending right around the 75-80% range, and it's very, very profitable. So again, that's coming soon, of course, as an add-on package to current community members, but anyone else can essentially choose to use that. So be on the horizon there. I'll make sure to let everyone know, obviously, when that occurs. But the 4-hour time frame, unless you're day trading, this 4-hour time frame is kind of giving us some false positives. Really not a lot of consistency in any way. So the 4-hour to me is kind of a wash. Even though we are potentially diverging here, it's not super significant. If we were to have another couple of red days, I would say that we have another divergence on the horizon. So this is more so gravitating towards the downside, but it's not officially telling us that we don't have confirmation. The thing to note here, and this is slightly positive, we are essentially having higher lows at this point still in the 4-hour and last 48 hours. So in that sense, higher lows and higher highs are positive, but if this next high cannot break this plane of 28.5, then we're going to be kind of plateauing out, working ourselves into an ascending type of trend, which traditionally breaks to the upside. But once again, we're not there yet, okay? So instead of hypothesizing, go with what we have so far, which is not a lot of confirmation to the upside or downside. Even though we do have somewhat of a, on the macro, we still have somewhat of a breakdown potential there. This is where things get interesting though, because we look at the 1 hour, we can see that we are hitting this well, it was mildly overextended. We can see we came down to a 6 here. The bottom line here is though that this most recent low is lower than the previous. Okay, so you could argue that we're having higher lows on the 4 hour, but we're having lower lows on the 1 hour. Well, the 1 hour translates into the 4 hour, so this could very well tell us that we are potentially drawing down. So to me, I don't like to use just the 1 hour time frame to make a decision, but give the 1 hour enough time and the 4 hour will effectively print similar behaviors, okay? So lower lows there, I wouldn't say we're making lower highs yet, but we're on target to do that if this next little push up cannot hold. So to me, again, once more, still gravitating a little bit more towards a downside at this point, just based on that. Let's see if there's any signs on CC Golden here telling us here. So this is, again, an indicator that I've released available on our website here recently. It tells you good entry targets. So right now here, it did tell us that we had a nice little entry there right in the 28,000 range. It's come up since then. Obviously, that's a good sign. But there's no selling pressure, no selling signs here, and there's no overextension either. That leads me to believe that there's a good chance that we're going to probably see somewhat of a pullback if this next increase cannot hit 28.5. So to me, I'm going to be looking at a potential short at 28.4, 28.5 if the price has trouble maintaining that level, okay? Again, everyone has different strategies, different approaches, but it just makes a lot more sense that the price would come down than up at this point based from a technical standpoint, unless there's, of course, a fundamental catalyst that pushes the price action higher. Those things happen all the time. You cannot control that. That's why you have a stop loss in place to mitigate that loss. But to me, based on these candle wicks here, all hitting the 28,000 range and then just turning around, or sorry, 29,000 if you round up a little bit, it's very seemingly obvious to me that that's a strong resistance level, and the market movers, whomever they are, is not willing to allow that to happen just yet, okay? Again, a lot of selling pressure at that point. So, we can take a look at, liquidation levels. We looked at that yesterday, as a matter of fact. They're pretty consistent today, the same thing. Not a whole heck of a lot, because again, if you look at liquidation for, aggregated, this is kind of across all exchanges, you can see that yesterday we had a little bit more longs getting liquidated, today a little bit more shorts, okay? So in that sense, the price action kind of pulling up with this not being a significant wipe, so to speak, nothing like this here, if you will, there's a great chance that we will see the price pull back. Even though open interest is slightly higher today, I'm still not convinced with us having a doji candle here so far. So honestly, we close at a doji candle at 28,000 or lower today. I think there's a good chance we'll see further downside. So I'm really looking for that as confirmation, as potential entry for a short target for Bitcoin. Again, other alts could factor in. Keep in mind though, altcoins are significantly unstable right now. So I'm urging my community members to be careful with alts. We're doing so as well. And it's important to make sure that you kind of use proper risk tolerance. And a lot of altcoins unfortunately have that knee-jerk reaction. They're shooting up and shooting down based on minor movements from Bitcoin. So please be very careful doing that. Either way, conversation for another day. We'll cover some alts here again soon, as per usual, of course. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you have requests or comments, feel free to let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll cover coins that you'd like for me to cover. I'm going to be more active in getting a lot more altcoin coverage here soon. Thank you so much for joining me here again. Have a great rest of the day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.